G'day guys, today we're going to be taking a look at Commodore 64 BASIC on the GB300 and SF2000 handhelds. Specifically how you can code and run games on the handhelds themselves. We will be focusing on the GB300 in this video, but the steps are identical for both handhelds. You will need to have installed multi-core custom firmware for this to work. Let's get into it. To get started, we will need to download a Commodore 64 file. So just going into Google, typing in Hello World C64 256B. We want to click on the CSDB link for Hello World by Raster Dream 2013. Just want to scroll down and click download. Once it's finished downloading, we can close off Chrome and extract our hello.zip. Open up the folder, and inside we should have 3 files. The important one is hello.prg. Next, I'm just inserting the microSD from my GB300 into a USB microSD reader, put it in the laptop. I want to copy hello.prg. I want to open up our microSD card. For me it was D drive. Open up the ROMs folder. Open up C64, not C64F, FC, or SC. Just make sure it's the plain one. And paste in our hello.prg file. Next we want to rename it. So click on it once, and I'll call it BASIC, just so you know what the ROM actually is on the handheld. Once you've renamed it, we want to go back to ROMs and click back again to go to the root. We want to double click make romlist.bat. This will actually insert the custom C64 core into a Game Boy Advance file that we can run. Once it's done, press any key, and that's all we have to do on our Windows PC. We can go down to the bottom right and safely eject. We will put the SD card back in our GB300. On our GB300 now, we want to go down to the ROMs folder. We want to open up our C64 BASIC. And now we are inside C64 BASIC. Pressing the select key will bring up the on-screen keyboard. Use the D-pad to select the character you want to press, and press Y to select that character. Press select again and it'll hide the on-screen keyboard. Now we're inside BASIC. The first thing we want to do is start a new program since there already is Hello World written. So let's press select. We want to type in new. I've already typed in N, so we'll type in EW. The start key is mapped to enter while the on-screen keyboard is open, which is pretty handy. So you can just press start, press select again, and you can see it has entered our new command. Next, we want to clear the screen. So again, select, bring up the on-screen keyboard. We want to go down to shift lock, and we want to press CLR home. Be aware that shift lock is a toggle, and it doesn't toggle itself off after pressing a key. You do have to turn it off manually. So we're going to go back to shift lock, press Y again to turn it back off. Now you can see we've got a fresh screen, and this will be our starting point. From here, I recommend creating a save state. So start and select, and go down to save. And then every time you want to program in BASIC, open up the C64 BASIC ROM and load this save state. I recommend you not overwriting it if possible. Use one of the other 3 available slots. So from here, you can just program in C64 BASIC as you would on a real console or emulator. So for example, we'll do just the basic Hello World. So 10 space, we'll do print, P, R, I, and T space. Now to get the characters, you want to do shift lock, and you can see the top number line does change to special characters. So we'll go up, quotes, shift lock off again. We'll do hello. And end quote, so shift lock. There it is, close quotes. Done. Press start for new line. We'll do 20. Space, go to 10. To run our program, all you want to do is type in run. So R-U-N, enter, and you can see we've got a whole screen full of hello. At this point, you can either load your save state that we created at the start of the video, or pressing run stop should kill the program. And it did. It is worth noting that the buttons on the handheld itself are mapped to joystick port 2 in the Commodore 64 emulator. So if you did want to write a program or game that you can actually use with ease on one of these handhelds, make sure you are reading inputs from joystick 2. I'll quickly show you a little code snippet on how you can read the inputs from joystick 2. So press select to bring up the on-screen keyboard. Keep in mind, I have loaded our save state, so we're starting fresh again. We want to type in 10 space print, space peek, P-E-E-K, open bracket, so shift lock, and on the top right, make sure you turn shift lock off. 56320 is the address, so 56320, close bracket, and enter, and 20, space, go to 10. Press enter again, there's our 2 lines of code, and to run it, just type in RUN and press start. So you can see currently it's 127. If we press down, 125, left changes to 123, up 126, right 119, and the joystick button, which is, there's only one, it's Y, changes to 111. If you're curious what all of these numbers mean, up, down, left, right, and joystick are all mapped to a single bit at address 56320, and this is the hex value of all 8 bits combined. So you just wanted to check if left has been pressed, you would single out that single bit and compare against that. Also, if you hold down the joystick button and press the D-pad, the numbers do change again because all the bits are changing. To close out of our code, press select, bring up the on-screen keyboard, and press run stop. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way to copy programs out of the handheld back onto another device or emulator. The usual SF2000 GB300 save state tools don't recognize the format, but it should be possible. Getting programs onto the handheld, very, very easy. You could use something like Vice 64 or Windows, and you would type in your code on there, insert a virtual floppy disk, save it, save your code to the floppy disk, which will create a D64 file. And you would just drag that D64 file into the C64 ROMs folder on your SF2000 or GB300, run the make ROMs batch file, and load it just like we did the basic.prg file. Just be aware that it is exceptionally slow loading Commodore 64 disk files. It's not an issue with the handheld specifically, it's just that the Commodore 64 disk drive was famously slow. If you were wanting to load your own disk files on here, I recommend after it's loaded the first time, creating a save state so you don't have to wait the minute every time. If there's any interest, I might create a guide on how to program your own C64 games or programs on a Windows computer using Vice 64, saving it to the virtual disk and copying it over. There are a lot of resources on programming for the Commodore 64, and it's very, very easy to learn. There were a series of books from the 80s from Osborne that were chock full of programming guides, but also type in program listings, which as it sounds is a full game or program that you would have to manually type in on your own computer to play. Unfortunately, you can't connect a keyboard of any kind to the GB300 or SF2000, and you are limited to the on-screen keyboard. After messing around with it for a few minutes, you do get used to the on-screen keyboard, and your words per minute definitely increases. It's obviously far from perfect, but it's just another neat little thing that the GB300 and SF2000 can do. I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.